8 things you should never say to your child, even as a joke. Have you ever looked at your child laughing after you said something and still felt a quiet discomfort in your heart? Like maybe that laugh was hiding something deeper. Because here's the truth many parents don't realize early enough. Children don't always react to pain immediately. They don't always cry. They don't always complain. Sometimes they smile. Sometimes they go quiet. Sometimes they pretend it didn't hurt. But deep inside, those words are settling, forming beliefs, shaping identity. And one day those same words will become the voice in their head when they are alone, when they fail, when they try, when they doubt themselves. And that is why what you say matters more than you think. Not just the serious conversations, but even the casual jokes, the offhand comments, the words spoken in anger or frustration, because a child's heart does not filter words the way an adult's mind does. They absorb everything. And today, we are going to talk about 8 things you should never say to your child, even as a joke, because these words may seem small to you, but they carry a weight your child may carry for years. Starting with number 1, why can't you be like your sibling? This is one of the most common statements in many homes, especially when one child seems to be doing better than the other. Maybe one is more obedient, more intelligent, more responsible, and in a moment of frustration you say, "Why can't you just be like your brother? Why can't you behave like your sister?" But what your child hears is not correction. What they hear is rejection. They hear that who they are is not enough. Imagine a child who loves to draw being constantly compared to a sibling who excels in academics. Instead of feeling motivated, that child begins to feel invisible, unappreciated, and eventually may either resent the sibling or withdraw completely. Comparison does not build excellence. It builds insecurity. And children who grow up constantly compared often struggle with self-worth, even as adults. Number 2, you're so lazy. This may sound like a simple correction, but it is actually a label. And labels are powerful because children internalize them. For example, a child who forgets to clean their room once or twice is not lazy. They are learning responsibility. But when you repeatedly call them lazy, they begin to see themselves that way. And over time, they may stop trying because they believe that is who they are. Instead of saying you're lazy, it is more powerful to say, "I know you can do better than this. Let's work on being more responsible." One attacks identity, the other corrects behavior. Number 3, stop crying. It's not a big deal. Many parents say this with good intentions, trying to toughen their children or stop what seems like unnecessary crying. But what you are actually doing is teaching your child that their feelings are not valid. Imagine a little boy who falls and hurts himself. He runs to his parent crying and hears, "Stop crying. Be strong." What he learns is not strength but emotional suppression. He grows up believing he should not express pain. And later in life, this can lead to difficulty in relationships because he does not know how to process or communicate emotions. Instead of dismissing feelings, you can say, "I see you're hurt. Come here. Let's talk about it." You are not raising a weak child by acknowledging emotions. You are raising an emotionally intelligent one. Number 4, you'll never get it right. Words like this can destroy a child's confidence faster than you can imagine. Think about a child trying to solve a math problem and getting it wrong repeatedly. Out of frustration, a parent says, "You'll never get it right." In that moment, the child stops seeing the problem as something to solve and starts seeing themselves as incapable. Over time, they may avoid challenges altogether, not because they lack ability, but because they fear confirming that belief. Children need encouragement, especially when they struggle. Telling them, "Keep trying. You're getting closer," builds resilience. Telling them they will never get it right builds fear. Number 5, "I regret having you," even if said jokingly or in anger. This is one of the most damaging things a child can hear. A child's sense of security is built on the belief that they are wanted and loved. When that foundation is shaken even slightly, it creates deep emotional wounds. Imagine a parent saying this during an argument or as a joke when the child misbehaves. The child may laugh on the outside, but inside they begin to question their worth, their place in the family, and their value as a person. These are wounds that can last a lifetime. No child should ever feel like a mistake. Number 6, you're too sensitive. Sensitivity is often misunderstood. A child who feels deeply is not weak. They are aware, they are empathetic, they are human. But when you tell a child you're too sensitive, you are teaching them that a part of who they are is wrong. For example, a child who cries when a friend is hurt or feels upset when corrected harshly is simply expressing emotion. If you shame that sensitivity, they may grow up hiding their feelings or becoming emotionally distant. Instead, you can guide them by saying it's okay to feel this way, but let's learn how to handle it. You are not removing sensitivity. You are shaping it into strength. Number 7, because I said so. Every parent has said this at some point, especially when tired or frustrated. And while authority is important, explanation is powerful. Children are naturally curious. They want to understand the world. When you shut down their questions with, "Because I said so," you miss an opportunity to teach them reasoning, values, and understanding. Imagine a child asking why they cannot go outside late at night, and the parent simply says, "Because I said so." The child may obey out of fear, but not out of understanding. And when that fear is gone, they may rebel. But if you explain it's not safe, and I want to protect you, you build trust and awareness. Number 8, you're embarrassing me. This statement shifts the focus from guidance to shame. Imagine a child acting out in public, maybe talking loudly or making a mistake, and the parent says, "You're embarrassing me." The child immediately feels like a problem, like something is wrong with them. Instead of learning appropriate behavior, they feel ashamed of who they are. Over time, this can lead to anxiety, low self-esteem, and fear of expressing themselves. A better approach is to correct behavior privately and calmly, helping the child understand what to do differently without attacking their identity. And here is the deeper truth that every parent needs to hold on to. Your child may forget the expensive gifts you bought. They may forget the places you took them. They may forget many of the things you did, but they will never forget how your words made them feel. Your voice becomes their inner voice, the tone you use, the words you choose, the way you respond to their mistakes, their emotions, their efforts. All of these things are shaping the person they are becoming. A child who grows up hearing encouragement learns to believe in themselves. A child who grows up hearing constant criticism learns to doubt themselves. And this is not about being a perfect parent, because no one is perfect. It is about being intentional, about pausing before you speak, about choosing words that build rather than break, correct rather than condemn, guide rather than shame. Because at the end of the day, parenting is not just about raising a child who behaves well in front of people. It is about raising a human being who is confident, emotionally healthy, and secure in who they are. And sometimes the difference between a child who grows into a strong, self-assured adult and one who struggles with self-doubt is not money, not opportunity, not even education, but simply the words they heard growing up. So the next time you are about to speak, remember this. Your words are not just sounds. They are seeds. And whatever you plant in your child today will grow in their future tomorrow.